Tonight, Princess Yukiko has a big surprise.
The scandal involves the Enkastar Misuzu Hira.
During October of 2020, I saw that Persona 4 Golden was on sale for like $12. I had enough money, so I decided to get it. Several days later, I booted it up, and quite frankly, I was blown away. Like, even though I had only played the prologue where you're really not doing much, I was completely hooked. Right off the bat, I could tell that this game was something incredibly special, and I was very right. And not only did I love this game, not only did it become my new favorite RPG, but it became my second favorite game of all time. Let's dive into it.
We all trumpet our names of relationships. Life goes on with the way that you. I'm swimming the state of the unconscious. I search for your heart, pursue my true self.
Now, Persona 4's prologue is honestly pretty genius. Like, yeah, it's really long, but it sets up this game incredibly well. You wake up in this place called the Velvet Room, and this guy named Igor says a bunch of vague things foreshadowing what you'll experience throughout your long journey. A journey shrouded in mystery. You then arrive in Inaba, a small, quaint town in Japan where you meet who you'll be staying with for the next year while your parents are away. Enter Yotaro and Nanako Dojima. Your uncle Dojima is a straight man detective. He can be a hard ass, but he has heart, no doubt about that. And then there's Nanako. She's a sweet, innocent girl who is actually pretty mature for her age. But here's the thing, the relationship between these two is a little rocky, and this is immediately made clear during these opening moments. While eating dinner, Dojima gets a call from work, and he abruptly leaves, leaving Nanako in charge. Over the next few days, Nanako mentions how her dad is at work a lot and how she's left to do things herself, whether it be cooking breakfast or doing laundry. It's very sad to see, but I love how well the game smoothly introduces their relationship to the player. You also get to meet Dojima's partner in crime, Adachi. He might be a clumsy blabbermouth, but I found him to be pretty likable and funny. Oh, and he's also dressed like Doug Walker. You're welcome. The way you get introduced to your classmates is pretty smooth as well. I like how you get to hear casual bantering between the students before class starts. It's a small detail, but effective nonetheless. After you get to talk back to King Moron in front of the class, you're introduced to your new friends, those being Yosuke Hanamura, Chie Satonaka, and Yukiko Amagi. Sure, a lot of what the girls will say is light small talk, but it says a lot. Chie's reaction to Yosuke breaking her DVD shows off her passionate interests as well as Yosuke's goofiness. Yukiko's dialogue when getting hit on highlights her naiveness, and the conversation between the two girls after class simply displays what their relationship is like. Now, I'm going to get into these characters more later, believe me, but these opening moments I mentioned set up the game really well. It astonishes me. And that's only the first quarter of the prologue. Yeah. After that, you end up sticking your hand in the TV, and then you and your friends go to Junez and end up going inside the TV and find this creepy room where Yosuke takes a piss, and then you end up meeting this weird bear dude named Teddy, and even he doesn't know what this place is, meaning nobody knows what this place is. And then one of your classmates gets found dead, and you end up back in the TV, this time fighting the shadow monsters while using your persona ability. It's a lot, but it's also freaking insane, and it's guaranteed to have you hooked. This prologue does a great job with getting you acquainted with the world of Persona 4, and because of that, it has my respect. But once you're done with the first few dungeons, the game starts to open up more. A lot of Persona 4 revolves around pretty normal, everyday things for a teenager. Going to school, joining clubs, hanging out with friends, studying, cooking, etc. Now, some of these things can be pretty tedious things in real life, but by some miracle, Persona 4 found a way to make these everyday things pretty stimulating. For one, they don't take very long to do, and the game never outright forces you to do anything at a certain time. You can straight up take a job and never do it. It's amazing. That, and basically everything you do, no matter how minuscule, always has benefits. Want to talk to a friend in the middle of the night? You'll always get an item. Want to read a book in the evening? You'll get a stat boost. Want to eat rotten food out of the fridge? Your courage will increase. These rewards and benefits give these small tasks a lot of worth. You have actual incentive to do these things, and it's awesome. I personally found the gameplay loop in Persona 4 to be really nice. There's something oddly hypnotic about the things you do in the real world. Scheduling and planning your days can be really fun, despite requiring little input from the player. But hey, you can always go in the TV world and level up your personas and whatnot. But I'll be honest here. While I do enjoy the dungeons, I ended up wanting to play this game on a much lower difficulty so I could focus on the narrative. I don't know, I just vastly preferred the sim elements of this game to the point where I only went in the TV world when I had to. Now you might want to tell me that I wasn't playing the game correctly or whatever, but I'd argue that as long as you're having fun, that's all that matters. But I digress. Being able to do all this sim stuff while in the cozy town of Inaba helps quite a bit. In fact, a lot of people consider Inaba to be a very nostalgic setting. And yeah, I get why. A small town is pretty easy for people to relate to. I myself live in a very small town here in Florida, but I don't know, I never got some nostalgic vibe with Inaba. That doesn't mean I don't like it, quite the opposite actually. Inaba has a fantastic atmosphere to it, which is further enhanced by the game's soundtrack, because damn is it great. Persona 4's OST is embedded in a lot of pop and rock stylings. The vocal themes in this game are a lot of fun and are super catchy. Signs of Love, Heartbreak, my personal favorite, Your Affection, are all great. There's even rap verses on the backside of the TV and it goes over well. But hey, the instrumental cuts are cool too. I really like the organs on Sky Full of Stars, and some of the dungeon themes make good use of dance beats. But back to Inaba itself. This town isn't very expansive, but I think that's a good thing. Having this extremely dense area let me get to know everything better and form a stronger connection to it. That and the small town vibe of this game really adds to the overall story of the game. In fact, Persona 4's story is, to put it simply, amazing. I'm not going to give some deep analysis of it, but I'll say this. The overall murder mystery focus is executed extremely well and has a fantastic twist that I didn't see coming. It's well paced too, with a good amount of breathing room along with plenty of twists and turns, keeping things interesting the whole way through. And the small town setting just makes a lot of the story beats hit a bit harder since everything is happening pretty close to you. But honestly, sitting here explaining the plot, it doesn't really do much justice. It really has to be experienced firsthand. Although this story, and this game for that matter, would be nothing without my absolute favorite aspect of this game, the characters. So before I played Persona 4, I had never really experienced a game that had deep characters. Even one of my other favorite games, Earthbound, has extremely flat characters, no doubt about that. But with Persona 4 over here, I did not expect to love these characters this much. Like, holy shit, this is the best cast of characters I've ever seen in a video game, and maybe even one of the best I've ever seen in a piece of media. The writing in this game is so unbelievably amazing. Every line of dialogue feels very natural, nothing is flat, nothing is robotic. And not only does this game have out of this world writing, but out of this world voice acting as well. Everyone gives such a good, believable performance here, which keeps things engaging all the time. Just listen to how these characters talk back and forth.
If you'd asked, I would have whipped up some boxed lunches. Easy as pie. Yeah.
Let me think about no.
What makes you think I can't cook? Let's have a cook-off and see for ourselves.
My, doth the lady protest too much? And hey, I never said I cooked, but I have this weird feeling like I'd win anyway.
I can understand that.
It sounds like an actual conversation, you know? And all this culminates into an extremely likable cast of characters. So let's talk about them all, shall we? First off, we have Yosuke. We first meet him when he's getting hit in the nads, but once we get to properly speak to him, he's a pretty cool dude. Yosuke just has this charm about him that makes you want to hang out with the guy. He's also frequently considered to be the comic relief of this game, and he does a great job of being that. I love the stuff he says and the way he'll react to things are usually pretty funny. And he's also a bit of a perv, but I'd be lying if I said that it doesn't make me laugh.
Her curves, her posture, even her beautiful slim legs.
What's that look for?
Anyways, I'm positive, right?
Yeah, even when he's drooling over Rosette's hips, he just has this insanely likable aura about him, and because of that he works really well into the cast. You'll most likely end up wanting to be his friend, as well as be there for him, See, it's not all sunshine and rainbows for Yosuke. The first murder early on ended up being the girl he had a crush on. And not only that, but she apparently didn't like him much. Throughout his social link, you witness a lot of his grief firsthand, as well as a lot of the shit that he gets when working at Juness. But hey, that's what friends are for, right? In fact, this highlights something about the characters that I love. They feel very three-dimensional. Flat is the last word I would use to describe anybody. With Yosuke, you see various emotions come out of him, making things really believable, and this goes for everyone. But yeah, Yosuke is great. To me, it gives off the vibe of that one friend you can really trust, but also joke around with at the same time. A real bro, you know?
The bright sun, the glistening waves, that luscious scent drifting from nearby stands, the dripping of meat juices.
This is Chie, and she's probably my favorite character in the game. First of all, her attitude. Chie is very bubbly and outgoing, but still has a sensitive side. One moment you might find her in some passionate rage, or just relaxing and having a good time. She has this intoxicating, upbeat personality that makes her really fun to be around, whether it's at the movies or training. I just love how she'll react to whatever she's going on. It's usually pretty entertaining. Passionate is a good word to describe her, and I like that a lot. She'll rarely give up on something she cares about, and that's pretty awesome. I'd say Chie is just positive vibes all around. I can never go wrong with hanging out with her in the game. Oh, and she's also adorable, but I'll get into that later. Now for Miss Satonaka's best friend, Yukiko. She's kind of the opposite of Chie in a way. While Chie is very extroverted and outspoken, Yukiko keeps to herself most of the time and is generally pretty quiet. That isn't until she gets into one of her laughing fits. Modest is a word I'd call her. The way she talks is pretty unique to the cast. She speaks in this sort of proper manner. That's not to say she's incapable of emoting or anything, but I'm sure you get what I mean. It fits her character perfectly and has a nice charm to it as well. Her feelings towards working at the inn are an interesting part of her as well. It turns out she doesn't like being told what her future should be, so it was interesting seeing this side of her. I'll be honest though, Yukiko took a while to quote-unquote grow on me, if that makes sense. Her softer personality might not jump out at you at first, but I came to like her quite a bit by the end of my journey. Well, and I found it pretty funny that she develops quite a crush on you throughout the game. Ironic since she's pretty oblivious when it comes to boys. I guess it goes to show you how much of a Chad Yu is. Like seriously, the way he stands there just radiates this coolness that I could only dream of having. In fact, Narukami is really a good protagonist for this game. He is entirely mute, but because of the robust dialogue options, he's a pretty good self-insert character. You can make him a complete asshole, or even a total simp. It's all up to you. Some dialogue choices will even affect your social stats, which is cool. So those are the 3 friends you make in the very beginning of the game, but there's more to come. As your journey continues, people that you don't know will start to get kidnapped as well. The first of which being Kanji Tatsumi. He's first made out to be a super tough and dangerous gang member, but the team decides to warn him of his kidnapping anyway. Hey man, I absolutely love the bit where the team splits up to look for Kanji, leading to some priceless moments. I'll touch more on this later, but these kinds of scenes really let these characters shine and show off how well they bounce off each other. But back to Kanji. It turns out that he's much more than meets the eye. Kanji has quite the soft side, and once he joined the team, I found him to be pretty likable and funny. I think his stupidity and hot-headedness adds a unique dynamic to the group. I find Kanji's narrative to be especially interesting. It's made clear that he's a kind of a sexually confused guy, and people will often think he's weird for having girlish hobbies and whatnot. I think a lot of this makes Kanji feel very human. He's just a guy that doesn't want to be rejected, and I feel like people can relate to him, and it's something I really admire about his character. But now we enter Risei Kujikawa. You catch a glimpse of her in the beginning as part of a commercial, but you don't properly meet her until a while later. Now, once Risei was properly introduced, I had a few thoughts. First being, gee, why can't you buy a swimsuit to pin up of a 15-year-old? And second, gee, why is this girl so horny?
Oh, but sitting behind Senpai sounds great too. I want to squeeze in close.
Yeah, when Risei joins the team, she flirts with you a lot. And honestly, I thought it was kind of weird, and was a tad worried that she'd be like this all the time. But like, this is Persona 4 we're talking about, so of course that wasn't the case. I think Risei actually shows off an incredible aspect of this game, at least to me. I might have been skeptical of her at first, but I started up her social link anyway, and you know what? I was impressed. As the social link goes on, I began to see her for who she really is. The reason Rise moved to Inaba was to get away from the spotlight. Being a huge idol was tough for her, so it made sense. During her conversation, she opens up about her life and how she's trying to move on, eventually realizing that her friends like her for who she is, not just because she was an idol. The way Rise's character opens up amazes me. It's a real testament to how natural the writing in this game is. Throughout her social link, I really did feel like I was actually getting to know her better, while becoming great friends in the process. The fact that she just came across as some flirty chick at first, but ended up becoming one of my favorite characters by the end is just crazy to me. I don't know, maybe some of you have seen this kind of thing in a game before, but for me, it really stuck out. Plus, Rise's just a fun character. She's an idol, so she has a very upbeat energy and charisma about her that's hard not to like. She's also responsible for one of my favorite lines of dialogue in the game, actually.
As long as you know what you really want to do, no matter how hard it is, you'll be okay.
Didn't date her though, my heart only belongs to one woman. But anyway, the final teammate is Naoto Shirogane, but she gets introduced much earlier than her kidnapping. In fact, I actually really like how she's more steadily introduced. Naoto first shows up along with Kanji, but later begins questioning the team about the case. She became very dead set on solving the mystery even after the police closed it, since she knew something was up. Turns out she was right, and after defeating her shadow, Naoto joins the team. Despite being very young, she's definitely the most mature and stern member of the group. Naoto always seems to get the team to think straight and will help sort stuff out. For me, there's sort of an entertaining quality about her very serious and sophisticated demeanor. It's made even funnier when she gets caught off guard or flustered. Her narrative does add a bit of depth to her character though. She might be a great detective, but due to her young age, she's not treated very seriously by her co-workers. Not only that, but she even disguises herself as a boy in order to avoid his sexism on the force. Her social link further expands on this stuff since you get to hear Naoto open up about these things. You even get to solve this little side case, all while learning more and more about her. But beneath Naoto's cold demeanor, there's a real person in there with some real feelings, and that's what makes her so great. Well, that basically wraps up the team, except for the one and only Teddy. Yep, the mysterious bear you met in the TV world does actually end up becoming a great friend. And yeah, I think Teddy is a super fun character. His unique voice and stupid bear puns are hard not to love. Plus, Teddy is just funny. He's definitely one of the most over-the-top characters here, and I wouldn't have it any other way. So many of the things he does and says are so freaking hilarious, like when he pretends to be a stuffed animal during a school trip, or all the times he tries scoring with the girls. Not to mention when he finds Yosuke's stash of X-rated magazines and shows his parents. It's all comedy gold if you ask me. I also particularly like how well Teddy and Yosuke bounce off of each other. It's pretty fun. I feel like you'd be hard-pressed to find someone that outright hates the bear, you know? He's just too much fun. Oh, and this also happens.
It's so hot! Whoa! What the? Much better.
Geez, hearing his voice come out of this flamboyant pretty boy is just hilarious to me. Oh, and I have to mention one other bit. Later on in the game, the school holds a cross-dressing pageant, and the way he acts is just priceless.
Give me your hearts!
That's a boy? He's so cute!
I'd hit it.
Yeah, Teddy is a massive highlight in this game for me. I guess you could say he's a very great character. I'm gonna stop. Now there are plenty, and I mean plenty of other characters I could go on about, mainly the people you meet at school clubs and such, but I want to end off this section by circling back to Nanako and Dojima since I absolutely love their social links. They might be fairly different, but they do intertwine. As you talk to Nanako more and more, she begins to get really attached to you. You're her big bro after all. She looks up to you, and you end up wanting to be there for her when you can, which makes those moments when she's sad or scared sting a lot more. But that also makes the moments where she's genuinely happy all the better. But she also becomes friends with your friends, which leads to plenty of great moments like the fireworks evening. But then on the opposite side of the coin we have Dojima. And then like I said in the beginning of this video, him and Nanako don't have the best relationship imaginable. They don't hate each other or anything, but it's very clear that Nanako doesn't like when he isn't home. But that's where you come in. And not only does Nanako value as a brother, but through talking with Dojima, he comes to terms with his own struggles and decides to do all he can to be a better father. I mean, getting to see the two of them just be happy is an amazing feeling. To me, it felt like I helped their relationship get better, and that's incredible. So yeah, these characters are outstanding. Their in-depth personalities and perfectly crafted social links are nothing short of amazing. However, I think what makes these characters and this game extra special is the way they interact. Every single character complements one another in a very significant way, making even the smallest scenes of them studying feel natural. And this brings me to my absolute favorite part about Persona 4, the moments. Those pure, simple moments where these characters are just hanging out and having a good time. No more, no less. I know that at the end of the day these parts are just sitting around pressing the A button while listening to people talk, but I just love it so much. I love these characters so much. But there's a certain warmth I get out of seeing everyone go to a festival or even just hanging out eating some watermelon. It's so simple on paper, but so effective in creating this friendly, loving atmosphere. Everyone here has such incredible chemistry, and just watching that shine is amazing to me. Every line of dialogue, every joke, and every burst of laughter from this cast never ceases to put a smile on my face. There are just so many memorable moments in this game that I can point out. I really loved it when all the girls decided to have an omelet competition, but because none of them can cook, it didn't go too well. You just get to see everyone sitting around the table tasting the food and witnessing everyone's reaction. Oh, but Nanako enjoyed the omelets, I think.
I think this tastes good too.
Oh, and I also adore this part of the game where everyone has to form a band so they can perform live at Jeunesse. The thing is, nobody knows how to play an instrument, but they pull through and end up giving a great performance. It's such a good moment seeing everyone practice together and being up on stage. It's pretty awesome. Yet another fun moment was during the school trip to Port Island, where the gang heads to some club where the characters get pretty wasted while playing the King's game, leading to some grade A moments. Yukiko, Rise, and Teddy are all being super ridiculous, and it's hilarious. But according to Naoto, there was no alcohol in the drinks to begin with. Go figure. I could continue talking about this stuff for hours, but I think what these scenes accomplish is just how it, makes me feel like these characters are my friends. Good friends even. It sounds weird to say since these characters are just transparent PNGs, but they don't feel that way to me. Everything in Persona 4 feels so genuine, making these moments resonate with me pretty hard. I love how even though there's a pretty dangerous threat present throughout the game, you get to have these moments of peace here and there. It's hard to come up with words describing these scenes, but above all, they just make me happy. So with that, why not to talk about my favorite moment in Persona 4? So later on in the game, the school ends up holding this little camping trip, and Chie and Yukiko decide to cook food for the group. But if you remember, neither of them can cook, so we end up seeing them at the supermarket wanting to add cornstarch to curry. Yeah. And then once poor Yosuke takes a bite,
Hey!
What the hell is this?
yeah, it ain't very good, so the guys go to their tent hungry. And then after some talk of King Moron and animal crackers, Yosuke asks Kanji an interesting question.
Are you really... Am I really what? What I mean is... Are we gonna be safe alone with you? What?
And then to prove his manliness, Kanji runs off to the girls' side, scaring Chie and Yukiko over to the guys' tent. And then after a close encounter with a drunk King Moron, the night ends. But the next day, Yosuke suggests everyone go swimming. The girls don't want to for obvious reasons, but then Chie says that she would if only she had a swimsuit. Luckily, Yosuke came prepared. But then they get pushed off the cliff. This whole trip is just non-stop jokes and I love it. I kid you not, when I was going through this section I had a grin on my face the entire time. It's just so much fun. Moments like this go to show what strong characters can do for a game. Like I've said, I grew attached to these characters, and sometimes in more ways than one, since you can date the girls in this game. Oh yeah. Alright, so remember how I said that Persona 4 has the best writing I've ever seen in a video game? Well, this is especially true when it comes to the romance aspect. Yes, later on in a girl's social link, you will have the option of dating them. Now, this isn't the only game to do this, but it's the only game I've played that does it. And yeah, as a massive virgin such as myself, this is great. But the question is, which girl did I pick? Well, as I alluded to earlier in the video, it was Chie.
Good morning.
Can you marry transparent PNGs? Now, I knew going into this game that you could date the girls, but it didn't take me long for me to take an interest in Chie over here. The way she talks and acts is just adorable. I know some people can't stand her voice, but I think it's part of her charm, you know? She's also the most, I guess, chill of all the girls. Not really in terms of her personality due to her outbursts, but she doesn't quite deal with some massive personal problem on the level of Yukiko or Rise. She just learns that she wants to protect people is all, and be a better friend to Yukiko. Nothing too crazy. In fact, once I realized Chie was the one, it became my mission to date her. I hung out with her every chance I got, it seemed. And man, when I finally did it, best day of my life. But hey, it's a great scene. Chie fends off some punk kids, says how she wants to protect you, and then you see those magic words. The mood is right. Geez, I must have had the stupidest grin on my face during this part. And damn right I showed up to school the next day bragging about my accomplishment. Because forget real women, I got Persona 4. Anyways, I'd say the most endearing part about Chie are those times where she'll get really awkward or nervous around you. It's too cute.
So, yeah. Oh, you know what I'm trying to say. Hey, wipe that grin off your face. Stupid.
I know my virgin levels are way off the charts right now, but I don't really care. And all the dates you could go on are really well written too. They're not cringy, they're not stilted, they feel natural. Not that I have any real life reference, but you get the idea. So yeah, Chie is great and all, but what about the other girls in this game? Well, I didn't date everybody across my 2 playthroughs, but I do have some thoughts on people other than Chie. First off, I kinda want to mention the worst girl in Persona 4, that being Ayumi Ozawa. She runs the drama club, and if you decide to join, you'll end up being subjected to her whining and crying about her family issues. And look, I understand her feelings, but good lord, she is ridiculous. She was way too emotional for me. But hey, in real life, you meet people that you don't like, and because of that, I kinda like that she's here. Now, remember how I said I came to like Yukiko quite a bit by the end of the game? Well, on my second playthrough, I decided to go the romance route. Overall, it's pretty solid, and she does have plenty of endearing qualities about her, but compared to Chie, it's just not the same. To be honest, I ended up preferring Yukiko as just a friend, which isn't necessarily a bad thing. I enjoyed hearing a lot of what she had to say though, whether it be about you, the inn, or other stuff.
Oh, you sleep on a futon, I see. I use a futon too. Huh? Oh, you mean to sit? Anywhere's fine.
Right. I definitely get the appeal of Yukiko, but she just didn't become a new favorite is all. And one last character I have to mention here is Marie. You meet her in the Velvet Room, and eventually you get to hang out with her. And I gotta say, her social link is pretty great. She can't remember much about herself, so you end up trying to help her regain her memories. But she's very mysterious, and I find that it makes her character pretty interesting. Marie might be snarky sometimes, but she's pretty nice and comes to see you as a good friend. In fact, the scene where you can ask her out is pretty fantastic. It's a legitimately heartwarming moment that I like a lot. Meanwhile, Yukiko's is just like, "Oh, why are you always with me? 'Cause I like you." "Oh, you like me? Well, I like you too, so I guess we're boyfriend and girlfriend now." I'm teasing, of course, but I honestly thought it was funnier friend zoning her.
Is it okay for me to ask? I see. Yes, precisely.
Although I'd be lying if I said I didn't feel a little bad about it. I think this part of the game is just a testament to this game's incredible writing. You will care about these characters, which in turn will make a lot of the emotional moments hit a lot harder. Some heavy stuff goes down in this game. There are hardships and there are uncertainties. I won't go into much detail, but a lot of what goes on during the game's climax is pretty wild and gets extremely tense. It will hit you in the feels, no doubt. But through all the darkness and uncertainty that looms over this game, someone will always come through with a smile, or just something to lift everyone's spirit. Despite this game's murder mystery plot, Persona 4 to me is a very feel-good game. In fact, when I play this game, I just feel better. There have been plenty of days where something would end up stressing me out, whether it be my editing software messing up or something school-related. Regardless, I could always turn to this game to wind down, clear my head. With something about the town of Inaba, the characters, the music, the gripping story, always got me immersed into this game. I play it, and I'll always forget about whatever's bothering me. It's amazing to me. It's also part of the reason I kept things on a low difficulty. I just wanted to keep things chill, focus on the story, and I'm glad I did. It was nice to have something I could turn to if I wasn't feeling great. Obviously, I wasn't playing this game only when I was stressed, but I wanted to point this out because it's one of the biggest things I valued about Persona 4. This is one of the few games out there that immerses me in this way. It's really one of a kind, and it gets me thinking, if I, someone who already has good friends, can connect to these characters in a big way, then perhaps Persona 4 could be great for someone that might not have a lot of friends. I know for a fact that this game has gotten people through some tough times. And who knows, maybe when I'm a depressed, broke 20-something, you can guarantee I'll be parking my ass in front of this masterpiece. The variety of emotions Persona 4 elicits out of me is just insane. I resonated with this game pretty hard, and I'm kinda glad I played this game when I did. I'm roughly the same age as a lot of the characters, so perhaps I could more easily relate to them. This game was such a wild ride. It blew my mind in a million different ways, to a point where it became the best RPG I ever played, even surpassing the Mother series. I'm not one to cry at a game or movie, but the very end of this game was one of those moments where I really wish I did. That's how engrossing the story is. That's how genuine these characters are. That's how much I love Persona 4. And I have a good feeling that this game will stay by my side for a long, long time.
We're at the ocean, which means swimsuits, which means Reset live and in person. What are the ramifications here? Am I using up my lifetime supply of luck with this?
A king? Well, when you put it that way, it sounds about right.
Teddy? A king? I can see him wearing a cape!
Kanji, what are you looking away for? Don't tell me you're ashamed to look. What are you, a monk? That ain't it!
You're so cute, Kanji. Man, that was amazing! Totally worth coming out here for.
Because you got to stuff your face, right?
So what? You were all munching on snacks too.
An extra large steak bowl doesn't qualify as a snack.
Then I will take over all the charming percussion accoutrement. Hey, baby, I'll lay down the passionate beats that flow from my soul.
I'm supposed to use this power to protect people. Yukiko, my friends, my family, this town, and you.
We all trumpet our lace of relationships that goes on.
ペルソナシリーズ最新作ペルソナ4ご予約はまだのようですなアトラスご予約はまだのようですなペルソナ4
Great vegetables.